What's up everyone, Darcblade here with the next episode in our Agents of Overwatch series, where we take a look at the heroes in the game, going over their lore, abilities, pros, cons and more. In this episode we're going to have a look at the former Overwatch agent, now turned mercenary for Talon, Reaper. Reaper was once a member of Overwatch. Known as Gabriel Reyes, he was a key member of the early Overwatch team. During the early years of the organisation, Reyes was a valued member and friend to the other members of Overwatch, especially Jack Morrison, who would later become known as Soldier 76. Reyes would eventually become part of the Overwatch Black Watch unit. The Black Watch were a secret part of Overwatch, kept from public knowledge. They would take part in numerous Black Ops missions. As time went on though, tensions within Overwatch heightened, with Reyes and Morrison becoming increasingly at odds with each other. Being passed over for command of Overwatch in favour of Morrison was one of the key reasons that tensions rose between the two high-ranking officers. On top of that, the accusations that Overwatch was corrupt eventually led to an opportunity for Reyes to take over. Overwatch was split down the middle, with half siding with Reyes, the other with Morrison. The event eventually led to a battle within the Overwatch Swiss HQ, which officially led to the deaths of both Reyes and Morrison. However, this was not the case. Although the public would never know the true fate of the former Overwatch leaders, Reyes would resurface as a rage-filled mercenary known as Reaper. Also sometimes called the Reaper, he soon gained the reputation as a ruthless and remorseless killer, responsible for numerous terrorist actions around the world. Despite being involved in many conflicts over the past decades, Reaper shows little loyalty to any cause or organisation. The only organisation that seems to have kept Reaper's interest is Talon. This is normally due to the organisation's anti-Overwatch terrorist operations, which gives Reaper the opportunity for revenge. Those who attempt to follow Reaper's movements have started to see a pattern in his attacks. They hypothesize that Reaper is hunting down former Overwatch agents and eliminating them when he can. Now moving on to take a look at the weapons and abilities Reaper wields. Reaper is a 1-star difficulty offense hero. He has 250 health, which is slightly above average movement speed, and is an average target size. Reaper also never reloads his guns, although in terms of mechanics he reloads. In the game's presentation, he will simply throw away his shotguns and pull out a fresh pair from his coat. Reaper's primary weapon are his Hellfire shotguns. Dual wielding the pair of shotguns, he can rip through foes who are foolish enough to get close to him. They are extremely effective at close range, but become less effective the further the target is from Reaper. Depending on the distance, each blast from one of these shotguns can deliver a shell of 20 pellets, with each pellet dealing 2 to 7 damage. So at its closest, meaning point blank, a shotgun shot can deal 140 damage to a target. This can be more if you're able to land a headshot, but remember, if you aim for the head, there is a chance that half of your pellets will completely miss. With this in mind, it can be optimal to aim at a target's chest, unless you get the opportunity to go at point blank to deliver a headshot. The damage for Reaper's shotguns will drop off after 10 meters, and do next to nothing at foes who are more than 20 meters away. Reaper will fire the Hellfire shotguns one after another, so it'll be the right gun, then left, then right, and so on, until the weapon runs dry. With this pattern, the Hellfire shotguns have a rate of fire of 2 shots per second.
Reaper carries 8 rounds in total for the Hellfire shotguns, 4 in each weapon.
Once his weapons are out of ammo, he will discard them and pull out a new set from his coat. This animation lasts 1.5 seconds. If you're quick enough, as soon as you notice the ammo reloaded in the bottom right corner of your screen, you can melee attack, cancelling the animation, thus making this reload animation slightly quicker. The Hellfire shotguns are a very high source of damage, and work wonders on slow moving and large targets, where you can land all of the pellets from a shot. With this in mind, tanks are susceptible to Reaper's assaults, making him a potential tank busting hero. Reaper has one ability and achievement linked to the Hellfire shotguns. It's called Waste Not, Want Not, and requires a player to get 3 solo kills in a single clip of Reaper's shotguns in quick or competitive play. This can be tricky, not only because most players have an auto reload reaction, but because your team will also be trying to damage your opponents, and because you need to locate the lower health foes too. One tip that helped me get this achievement was to use Death Blossom after tagging 3 foes. So you fire one shot at each foe that's nearby and then Death Blossom to kill all 3, and this still counts for the achievement. Now, Reaper's first ability is Wraith Form. When activated, Reaper will become one with the shadows, turning into a black mist for a short time. During this time, he will be able to move as normal, and on top of that, he will take no damage from any source as he passes through enemies to a safe location or to continue his assault. The downside is that during Wraith Form, Reaper cannot attack or pass through the environment. His movement speed, though, will be increased for the duration of Wraith Form, moving at 7.1 meters per second. Wraith Form will last for 3 seconds, which is normally enough time to get Reaper out of a deadly situation to safety, after which he will have an 8-second cooldown before he can use it again. Wraith Form is a wonderful defensive tool for Reaper. While yes, it can be used to chase down wounded foes, it comes in far more useful when used to escape fights. An example would be to flank an enemy team, dash in and pick off a key support or tank, then as the enemy team notice they have lost a member and turn around to counter you, you as Reaper, Wraith Form, travel back through them to the safety of your own team. Wraith Form can also come in great for escaping enemy ultimates. For example, if a Tracer manages to stick her pulse bomb to you, then you can Wraith Form, the bomb will drop off and you won't take any damage. Just remember that the Wraith Form is only 3 seconds, so be careful when you're up against enemy ultimates that last longer than that. Reaper's second ability is Shadow Step. Once the ability button is pressed down, Reaper will then be able to pinpoint a location via a shadowy mist circle ahead of him. Once you press the fire button, the ability is confirmed and Reaper will teleport to this indicated location. The distance Reaper can teleport is 35 meters away, so it's a large distance. However, once he is committed to teleporting, the animation will take 2.5 seconds. However, if you're not happy with the location you're going to teleport to, or you notice an enemy approaching, you can always cancel Shadow Step. However, once you have started teleporting, this can leave Reaper open to deadly damage from the enemy if he is spotted. You will be able to tell when an enemy Reaper is teleporting via a dark red tinged smoke on the ground. Use this to your advantage and prepare a deadly counter for him. You will also be able to hear audio cues for when Reaper is teleporting. Once Shadow Step is used, Reaper will not be able to use it again until the 10-second cooldown is up. Shadow Step is not advisable to teleport into the heat of battle, as the animation time and inability to attack during the teleport will more than likely get Reaper killed. Instead, it is best used to move around the map and get into key locations to flank the enemy from the sides, rear, or even from above. Just be aware that you do give audio cues when you use Shadow Step, and it may result in them going to look for you. Reaper comes with a passive ability known as the Reaping. This allows Reaper to see these black and red globes around the map. They are generated whenever an enemy player is killed by you or your teammates. Reaper can then collect these globes, with each one restoring his health. One globe restores 50 of Reaper's health and can be picked up once Reaper gets within 5 meters of it. This gives Reaper more survivability and sustain when in combat. This also means that he does not always have to rely on healers being close to him all the time. The Reaping globes can also be picked up whilst in Wraith Form, allowing Reaper to safely heal before continuing his assault. Reaper's ultimate ability is the crowd clearing Death Blossom. Once activated, Reaper will say, "Die, die, die," if he is the player or an enemy, or
"clearing the area,"
if he is an ally player, after which he will spin in a blur of motion, firing his Hellfire shotguns in all directions, dealing heavy damage to anyone caught within its radius. It can be classed as a channeling area of effect ultimate. It will last for 3 seconds, during which anyone within an 8 meter radius of Reaper will take 170 damage per second for a total of 510 damage. The radius of Death Blossom can be indicated again by the misty red smoke surrounding Reaper. Because Death Blossom is at its most deadly when foes are grouped up together, it can work well in tandem with other crowd controlling ultimates like Zarya's Graviton Surge, Reinhardt's Earthshatter, or even Mei's Blizzard. Also, be aware that the ultimate is a channeled ultimate, so it can be interrupted by crowd controlling abilities, resulting in the ultimate being wasted and interrupted. These abilities can include Roadhog's Hook, McCree's Flashbang, or Anna's Sleep Dart. Death Blossom is all about striking at the right moment. skulking in the shadows and then pouncing at the right time. Best used when an ally has used a crowd controlling ultimate, or when the enemy are grouped up and not expecting to be attacked. One trick a lot of Reaper players use is to attack from above with Death Blossom, raining down death upon their foes. Death Blossom has one achievement and trophy linked to it. It's called Die, 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 and requires a player to kill 4 enemies with a single use of Death Blossom in quick or competitive play. Easy enough, especially when used in conjunction with an ally crowd controlling ultimate, or as long as the enemy team is not tank heavy. While every hero can take on every other hero in the game, there are some matchups that can be clearly in a certain hero's favour. Reaper is classed as a heavy damage close range flanker. With this in mind, he has an easier time flanking around foes, taking out key tanks and supports. Tanks who lack armor such as Roadhog, Zarya and Winston can be shredded within seconds by Reaper. He can also easily take out the slower moving healers such as Zenyatta or Mercy. On the flip side though, Reaper can be countered by foes who can crowd control him, such as McCree or Mei. He can also struggle against opponents who can keep their distance from him easily, such as Pharah and Soldier 76. Lastly, Genji can cause Reaper issues due to his speed and arsenal of weapons and abilities. Of course, a player's skill should always be taken into account. Just because a hero should easily be better than another hero on paper doesn't mean that will always be the case during a match. The pros for Reaper are as follows. Firstly, he can deal high amounts of damage. Next, he can self-heal due to the Reaping passive. Next, he's a great anti-tank hero and has a wonderful crowd clearing ultimate. However, his cons are that he's ineffective at any other range other than close range, and he is susceptible to stuns. Reaper was one of the first heroes Blizzard designed for Overwatch, alongside Tracer and Widowmaker. Reaper came about thanks to the concept art for the game. Influences for the hero can be found in other Blizzard games, including the Reaper unit from StarCraft, who dual-wield firearms and wear masks. Even Death Blossom bears similarity to Diablo3's Demon Hunter Strafe ability. Reaper also has had influences from the images of the Grim Reaper. The community for Overwatch have also referred to Reaper as edgy or even an edgelord, basically someone who is nihilistic. Overall, Reaper is an offense hero who is best used at taking on strong tank heavy teams or teams who lack movement speed. Being only a 1-star hero, he is easy to play but can take a bit of time to master his subtle nuances. Taking on the mindset of a flanker is a key tactic for Reaper players. But unlike the other flankers in the game like Tracer and Genji, Reaper is a lot slower at getting into position. He can still perform hit and run attacks, but these will be heavier hitting attacks, followed by Wraith forming away before planning the next attack. A slower affair when compared to Tracer and Genji's flank attacks. When you are in position to attack, it is not always best to attack first. Instead, wait for the enemy team to be distracted by your team before diving in to get a pick on a vital tank or support healer. Once you attack and hopefully get an easy kill, the enemy team will turn their attention towards you, away from your teammates, allowing them to push against your foes. On maps that have a lot of tight spaces and close quarters, his shotguns can shine, whether it be attack or defense. Reaper has above average health, and his passive ability, the Reaping, give him high survivability options for an offense hero. But don't get too careless. Use your Wraith form as much as you can to survive fights, especially if they are not in your favour. Reaper is a solid choice for an offense hero. Just remember though that he is a close range attacker, destroying anything foolish enough to get close to him. Anyway, I've been Darcblade, bringing my Agents of Overwatch guide to Reaper. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.
Oh, let's break it! Damn!